So we got so many people who came here today because they got some strange stuff going on in the house. Like my first guest, they said that her house is haunted and she believes that the spirits are connected to some old artifacts. But before you watch this, now look, this is a family that goes around and collects all this Civil War stuff. They got like old bombs. They even have in their house, they got those saws that they used to use to cut people's limbs off. Now, if you collect stuff like that, don't you think you're going to bring some bad stuff up in your house, right?
Yeah, Montel, I've even said to people that, go antiquing.
Yep.
Be very careful because you don't necessarily bring a spirit in, but you can bring the energy in.
Well, take a look at this.
We started collecting the Civil War things. We have about 38 cannonballs, plus amputation saws, the scaffolds, the probes. And I actually have my great-great-great-grandfather's gun that he carried in the Civil War. One evening, I was cooking, and all of a sudden, I heard behind my right shoulder, I heard a, just like that. And I turned around, and there was no one there. I looked up, and I saw blood dripping down from the middle of the wall. When I go to take a bath at night, the water, after I've run it, it'll be still. And then all of a sudden I look over to get in and it starts rocking back and forth. Usually between 1 and 3 a.m. in the morning. It's when the dogs start growling and we hear something, so we go check it out and we feel the actual cold spots. And nothing like that ever happened until my husband started bringing in the Civil War cannonballs. I need to know who my spirit is and if the spirit is connected with one of the objects I have here in the house.
See, I'm gonna tell you, that's just, not that I'm afraid of ghosts and stuff.
No, but
why am I bringing in stuff?
Why court it?
Please welcome Susan to the show. You should collect whatever you like. Collect stuff if you like it, but...
My husband started collecting the balls. We've lived there for like 20 years. In the year 2000, we went to Gettysburg. We started going to the Civil War battlefields, and he started getting one by one, and then things started moaning.
Yeah, people moaning because you got somebody saw in your room and they had their leg chopped off, and that person for 1,000 years. I'd say get rid of the stuff.
I would.
Well, put it in the box, put it in the garage.
But I want to know who's taking a bath with me sometimes, who's, in my bed, besides my husband.
Oh, wait, let's talk about that part, though.
Well, there's a very prominent person that did have his leg cut off, and his name was Rodney Campbell. Now, let me tell you something. Civil War records are sterling. By that, I mean you can find them. And I think what you've done is brought in the saw or a bullet or something that is of, negative, that's brought in the energy of the person.
Okay, do you know what battle he was in? If it was in Gettysburg?
No, it was in Gettysburg.
It was in Gettysburg.
Oh, yeah, definitely Gettysburg.
That's when it started. We were there 2 months later.
No.
But I've had people see him go across. He has a long coat on with a hat.
In one leg?
Well, they said he was walking. You can feel cold spots. He'll show up usually between 1 and 3 in the morning.
And how many times have you heard me say, if you've watched at home, if ghosts show up, they show up about like 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. That's when it's and because the dew is the strongest.
He told me thank you very much one time. And I didn't know.
He was very polite. See,
yeah, is he Confederate or Yankee?
No, he's a Confederate.
Confederate? Okay, because he started moaning. I was cooking potatoes, okra.
Well, I'd moan too if somebody was cutting my leg off.
But now, can she do anything about this?
Because get rid of that stuff.
Get rid of the stuff, or can't you just get the stuff, get the stuff off the stuff? Can't she
Well, she can bless it, and she can put it in salt water. She can make the sign of the cross, but still, you've got such a strong imprint of that. I mean, you've got such a trauma there.
So either live with the moaning and and the people getting in the bathtub with you.
And since he served in the service, I'd like to help him, rest in peace.
Well, I don't think it's so much him as I think what you've got is an energy implant, and actually they're harder to get rid of than if it was a ghost.
Yeah, because my guests don't even want to stay with me anymore.
I don't blame them. I don't want to stay with you.
No, if I was climbing in your bathtub and somebody got in there with me, I couldn't see them. I wouldn't want to stay at your house either.
No, me neither.
And then laying all over the bed, people climbing in.
No, and moaning all night.
No. So the best thing to do is either get rid of it, box it up. You don't have to get rid of it. Get rid of it, sell it to a museum.
Yeah. I think my husband would die. It's his cannonballs.
He can go see it
let
at the
him
museum.
have the moaning and the blood and all that stuff.
Put it on his side of the bed.
Yeah.
Look, I gotta take a little break. When we come back, we're gonna meet a woman who's desperately seeking answers after a loved one's death. Before we go, they won't hurt you. Yeah. You had a question, right? For Sylvia, go right ahead.
Sylvia, hi, Mental. I actually have a question about my career. What career paths should I be pursuing?
Something in media work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Well, there you go. Let me take a break. We'll be back right after this.
I was about 8.5 months pregnant when he was murdered. A few months ago, my daughter started sleepwalking. Usually when she's sleepwalking, she yells for her dad. Sylvia, I need to know if my daughter is seeing her father at night.